Hello and welcome back. So in this point here, I would actually want us to check on the XLOOKUP. So the XLOOKUP is actually the improved version of the VLOOKUP because some of the limitations that we had in the VLOOKUP have actually been addressed in the XLOOKUP. So before we actually continue, I would actually urge you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and so that you can actually stay updated whenever videos have actually been dropped. And on this part too, I would actually want you to follow my X account so that you can move together in actually building the Excel community. So in this point here, you would actually realize that one of the biggest limitations that we actually had in the VLOOKUP is that the VLOOKUP was not actually looking to the left. But on this point here, for the XLOOKUP, it can actually look to the left. So let's actually see. So this is actually basic HR lookup assistant or the payroll. So the HR has the role in this point to be the manager, and he actually wants to know the first name for the manager. Obviously, he knows the first name for the manager, but I actually wanted us to use this for this scenario. So the role is actually here. So the role is actually here, and this is what we would actually want to return. Now you can actually check that the first name is actually on the left of the role. So we are basically moving to the left. And because we are actually moving to the left, the VLOOKUP cannot actually do this because the VLOOKUP actually does to the right only. It actually looks up to the right only, not to the left. So this is where the XLOOKUP actually comes in. The XLOOKUP actually looks to the left. So let's actually confirm that. So in this point, we'll actually say XLOOKUP like that. Then you actually open. The lookup value is actually there on G22. So this is the lookup value, and this lookup value is actually on this array. So this lookup value is actually on this array. This is what you call the lookup array. So lookup array is where we have our lookup value, just like that. Comma, the return array. In this point, I would actually want to know the first name for the manager. So first name column is what we actually call the return array. That's what we would actually want to return as the output. So you close the XLOOKUP function like that. It's actually done. So just hit enter on the keyboard. So you can actually check that it's Simon, just like that. Before we actually continue, I would actually want you to come to this point here and get me the task so that I can do all the work for you. So you get me the templates work. I can get you the templates. You just request and I actually design for you at cheaper rates. You can actually see $22, $19, $15, $17, $19. They're actually very cheap. You can also ask me to design for you the template and manage it for you every month so that you can actually just be seeing the results. Now in this point too, if you have some projects which are actually running monthly, then you can actually get me the task to, for example, the cloud in Excel, dashboards and charts, automation, pivot tables and models, Power BI, financial forecast, templates management, all this. $550 a month will actually get you all this work done on your project. If you have the one-time task, for example, the AI-powered dashboard designs, data analysis and insights, macros, the enhanced Power BI reports by AI, these are the prices. You can actually check that the prices are actually very affordable: $150, $200, $250, $300. So those are basically the prices, and I would actually be so glad if you get me the work so that I can do it perfectly for you. Now remember, you can also come to this point here and assess my courses. We have what you call the early access. You can actually access them on the Google Drive, and I would actually charge you only $100. So imagine getting all these courses at $100, and after the website is actually back, you will still remain with the access. So you will still be assessing these courses on the website when the website is actually back. So that's it. And when I actually talk of the courses, this is basically what I mean. So you can actually check that I have a lot of them here. So for example, for the data lookup and reference, you can double click on it like that, and you can actually check that I have a lot of them. So there are actually many, and if you actually just pay $100, you will be able to master Excel from A to Z. So that's all. Now let's actually get back to this point here. So in this case here, suppose you would actually want to return we have already returned the first name, so I would also want us to return the current salary. So let's actually go to the right too, because you have also, so let's actually go to the right. So C salary, which is actually the current salary. Yes. So allow me to actually copy this. So allow me to copy this formatting. So click on copy, format painter, then hit on C salary, just like that. So on this point here, we will actually be doing to the right. So XLOOKUP, but you will be going to the right because you have already seen how we can go to the left. So remember, we were actually on the roll, then we actually went to the left to obtain the first name. So let's also go to the right to obtain the current salary. So it's equivalent to XLOOKUP, like that. Open, it will ask you for the lookup value, which is basically the manager G22, comma, it will ask you for the lookup array. So this lookup value is basically inside this array, just like that. And then another comma, it will ask you for the return array. So we would actually want to obtain the current salary for the manager. So the current salary, this is actually the return array. So just like that, you close, hit enter on the keyboard. Now the role is actually manager. The first name is actually Simon. So manager, the first name is actually Simon. And the current salary is actually equivalent to 6,500 US dollars. So that's it. So get me the work on the project, get me the work for the templates, and also get the early access to my Google Drive so that you can access all these courses